Good morning. 8:53 a.m. here on the 15th, day after the watch list, and I noticed there's a comment on our YouTube channel asking me to have a look at PLTR by user Nicolay5577. I am more than obliged, sir. I love TA. It's kind of an addiction, so if anyone ever wants me to look at a ticker, I am more than happy to. I enjoy this. So shoot it to me. Give me a comment. Let me know what you want me to look at, and even if you have any thoughts on it yourself, feel free. This is a public forum for you. So anytime you throw stuff at us, we bring it right back to you. Anyway, having a look at PLTR in the pre-market, of course, we took off kind of a lot actually. And this guy has been kind of parabolic for quite a while. We did notice this massive pullback all of a sudden, kind of out of nowhere. It is a descending channel. Typically, those end up being a little bearish in the long run, but for now, we've got some bullish plays to make on it and a couple of price targets therein. It did make almost a reversion of this part of the trend here. You can see that it tapped off the other day with a nice little spinning doji here right at angular support. That was kind of a buy signal, so we're a little bit behind the wire on this one, but it's not too late, I don't think. Yesterday, by the time I got the comment, it was a little bit beyond yesterday, just getting it today. It kind of went right up to the regression line in the channel and closed underneath it. That would have been a great opportunity to grab this thing. And let me get the 4-hour chart. I'll show you why. Essentially, whenever we see a nice open in the pre-market where we got to open right at that angular, especially after a day where it consolidated, that is usually a pretty good sign. If not, you could pick up the price, after it blew through the 8 period and rejected the 20 period. It gave you one more chance in the close yesterday and in the after hours. And then now with CPI data out, we're looking pretty dang bullish. We're actually just above the regression line in this descending channel, and we're still climbing. Short-term price targets, I'd expect some resistance right around the base of this liquidity zone. Whenever you look left and you see these wicks on big candles, usually it's either support or a resistance area. I like to map that zone and kind of give you an idea of where you expect buyers and sellers to be. This is kind of a range typically, so I always look at that. First target, I'd say about $70.25. Could possibly even hit that before we open this morning. And then if we get an extension into 71.50-ish, it wouldn't surprise me to go from A to B in this liquidity zone once we get there. Hopefully it consolidates for a day or so and then oozes its way on up to this angular resistance and then gives us a trend to revert this candle here. And anytime we see these channels, we tend to look for reversion targets in them, and this kind of split the difference. The high to the low, coming in the middle, about $75 is a pretty good extension on this guy. Just be aware that there will be some liquidity above this zone into the next zone here. You can see where a couple more candles stopped. And I always say apply the half and whole rule. When you see a big bar like that, kind of look for about half. So short term, we want to see it hit these milestones. We want to see it kind of cruise through 70 and a quarter, above 71.50, and then kind of get into this zone here, probably around 73, and continue out. Typically, when this sort of chart pattern breaks out of angular resistance, it almost, and not every time, but most of the time you'll see a candle that breaks out a little bit, comes back, test it for support, and then if things remain bullish, if it doesn't break through, usually it will come up and hit that reversion target afterwards. So you may get a couple pullbacks on this, but today it is already cooking off. So hopefully we get another little pullback in the day, maybe a test of regression here and then continuation. So I'm looking for some short-term bullishness on this guy. Just be aware that this is quite parabolic, and typically this ends up the kind of thing where it gets capitalized for a while, typically. I could be wrong, and I hope I am. I hope it's just a big pullback and continue to run on up to $100 and beyond. But for now, short-term bullishness, we know where the targets are. Let this work out. Give it some time. If it hits your target and just kind of goes sideways for a while, that's kind of expected. I would say a repeat of this is pretty likely. If we get a nice spike out and hit the 86.6 fib, be aware that that can usually get sold off pretty quick. Typically a news pop would do that, and here we have earnings coming up, so that's kind of setting up for almost exactly that. If it does get a quick pop that gets sold like that, everyone else is going to see a triple top. Then you get some short-term bearishness, and there's reversion targets for a bearish target down here around 61.50. And if things get really bad, we could see it even drop down here to 45, but I don't think it's going to be all that bad for PLTR. I think there's some brightness in the future, but if it does trickle off, well, that would be kind of what market capitalization does in the process of market structure. So it can happen. It is possible. In fact, it kind of leans to more probable after the fact. So watch the bull targets and make sure that if you're going to be long term in this thing, that you don't get caught in a reversal and a sell off. I'm hoping not, but it can give us at least some short term bullishness. Well, thanks again for joining. And like I said, feel free, shoot us a comment anytime, even during a show if we're live with the watch list or live with one of our live streams that we do put out there once in a while. Or even if you just feel like throwing a comment into our socials anywhere. Always feel free to request technical analysis by us. It's strictly an opinion. It's strictly our view of the chart. But at least it gives you some ideas on what to expect with price action. And price action is something we've come to be pretty good at, and we teach it. Check us out later. Thanks again, guys.